Have you ever left a quick lube shop with your wallet feeling lighter and no real explanation for why you needed that pricey synthetic oil? You are definitely not alone. Every year, millions of drivers pay double for oil changes, just because mechanics and oil companies keep the real story hidden. The truth is, it is not your fault. The synthetic oil industry is loaded with hidden rules, clever marketing, and secrets that can quietly cost you thousands over the life of your car. Today, I am breaking down the 21 biggest secrets about synthetic oil that mechanics and oil brands hope you never discover. Some of these will completely flip the way you think about oil changes. And secret number one is the money-saving move that 90% of drivers never figure out. That single move can save you more than anything else over the life of your car. So stick with me, because we are starting with the basics and building up to the game-changing insider knowledge you need to know. Let's jump right in. Most drivers walk into the auto parts store, see the word synthetic or conventional on the bottle, and just grab whatever the mechanic or the label recommends. But secret number 21 is that the real difference is not just synthetic versus conventional. It is the additives blended into the oil that make the real difference. This is the first place marketing trips people up, and it is where you can start saving real money. Oil companies love to print full synthetic on the front of the bottle, but the actual engine protection comes from the chemistry inside. Detergents, dispersants, anti-wear agents, antioxidants, and friction modifiers are the real workhorses. Detergents and dispersants neutralize combustion acids and prevent sludge from forming on engine surfaces. Anti-wear agents like zinc dialkylthiophosphate create sacrificial films that protect metal surfaces when they come dangerously close to touching. Antioxidants resist breakdown under heat and stress. Viscosity improvers manage how oil flows, whether it is freezing cold or scorching hot. Friction modifiers reduce energy losses. These additives can make up as much as 30% of what is in the bottle, and they are what keep your engine clean, reduce wear, and fight sludge. A $15 oil bottle with excellent additives can outperform a $50 so-called premium synthetic with weak chemistry. That is the first way you can outsmart the system. A lot of people think switching to synthetic oil will magically boost their fuel economy and save them a fortune at the pump. That is exactly what the marketing wants you to believe. The truth is, the real fuel savings are tiny, usually less than 2% in everyday driving. If you are paying $30 extra for synthetic and only getting a 1% bump in mileage, you would have to burn through hundreds of dollars in gas just to break even. If you want better gas mileage, focus on your tire pressure, driving smoothly, and removing that roof rack before worrying about what oil is in your engine. That is secret number 20. Picture this. You finally switch to synthetic because everyone swears by it. And a few weeks later, you see oil spots on the driveway or blue smoke from the tailpipe. Instantly, you might blame the new oil. But secret number 19 is that synthetic oil is not causing the problem. The real issue is usually your PCV valve. Here is what happens. You upgrade your oil, but your positive crankcase ventilation system was already failing. The timing is just a coincidence. When the PCV valve clogs, crankcase pressure builds up and forces oil past seals and into places it should not go. The result is oil leaks and smoke, but the cause is almost always a neglected PCV system, not the synthetic oil. A crankcase pressure test with a simple manometer can tell you if this is your problem. If the pressure is more than 2 inches of water column, you have an issue. Catch it early, and you might save yourself from a blown gasket or even a full engine rebuild. Let's talk about where synthetic oil truly shines. If you live somewhere with freezing winters or scorching summers, or you tow heavy or drive hard, this is where synthetic oil is worth every penny. The molecular uniformity in synthetics provides more predictable protection because each molecule is engineered to be similar in size and structure, rather than the random distribution you get from crude oil refining. At -40 degrees, 0W synthetic oil flows instantly and coats your engine parts in seconds. Conventional oil at that same temperature can take 30 seconds or more to reach the top of your engine, leaving metal parts rubbing together with almost no protection. Over a winter, that startup wear can add up to thousands in early engine repairs. That is secret number 18. It is not just the cold. High heat from towing or turbocharging can break down regular oil fast. Synthetics hold up and keep protecting your engine when it needs it most. If you push your car hard, tow, or live with wild weather, synthetic oil is the smart move. Here's something else most drivers never realize, and it is quietly costing them money every year. Secret number 17 is that the synthetic oil you buy today might not be the same product you bought 5 years ago, even if the label looks identical. Oil companies quietly reformulate products all the time, especially after corporate buyouts or supply changes. That bottle of Mobil 1 you trusted in 2015 might be a totally different formula today, even though the packaging looks the same. The only way to know what you are really getting is to check the current safety data sheet, which lists the actual chemical makeup. Most people never look, but this is what separates pros from everyone else. If you are curious about alternatives, here is what is changing the game right now. Secret number 16 is about gas-to-liquid technology, also called GTL, which lets companies turn natural gas into an ultra-pure synthetic base oil that rivals the best traditional synthetics. Pennzoil's Pure Plus, for example, is made from natural gas and can match the volatility and performance of premium synthetics, sometimes at a better price. Let's say your car just passed 100,000 miles, and you're wondering if it's time to switch to synthetic or maybe try one of those high-mileage blends. Secret number 15 is that high-mileage synthetic oils are specially designed for aging engines. These formulations have extra seal conditioners that help older gaskets stay flexible and reduce those small leaks that tend to show up as an engine gets older. They also use viscosity modifiers to keep the oil thick enough for worn bearings, but still flow well when it's cold. High-mileage synthetics clean out deposits gradually, so you do not risk chunks of sludge breaking loose and blocking an oil passage. For engines with more than 75,000 miles, these oils can help extend life. But remember, they treat symptoms, not the root cause of wear. Now picture this, it's the middle of winter, temperatures are way below freezing, and you turn the key, hoping your engine starts smoothly. Secret number 14 is that 0W synthetic oil can literally add years to your engine in cold climates. The first number before the W tells you how the oil behaves in the cold. 0W means the oil stays pumpable at -40 degrees, while 5W only works down to -35. That 5-degree difference really matters when you're starting your car on a freezing morning. 0W synthetic flows right away, protecting your engine parts from the very first crank. Only full synthetics can achieve true 0W ratings, since they're engineered to have a perfectly consistent molecular structure that just isn't possible with regular oil. Now check this out. Someone buys a brand new car that comes with synthetic oil from the factory. They go to the dealer for the first oil change at 5,000 miles, and suddenly the engine doesn't feel as smooth. They can't figure out what changed. Secret number 13 is that factory fill synthetic is often different from what you get as a replacement. New cars might come with a special break-in oil designed for the first few thousand miles, with a unique mix of friction modifiers and anti-wear additives to help the engine parts seat properly. Once that factory oil is drained, you can't buy it again. Dealerships and quick lubes just use whatever bulk synthetic meets the manual's specs, which isn't always the same as what came from the factory. Now let's say you drive a European car like a BMW, Audi, or Volkswagen. You get your oil changed at a quick lube, and a few thousand miles later, your check engine light comes on, and the dealer says your particulate filter is clogged. Secret number 12 is that European low SAPS synthetic oil is critical for protecting expensive emissions systems. European engines often require special low SAPS oils, which have less ash, phosphorus, and sulfur to keep particulate filters and catalytic converters from clogging. If you use the wrong oil, you can end up with a repair bill that's in the thousands just to replace a filter. Always check your owner's manual for the exact oil specification, like ACEAC3 or VW50700, and do not just trust the front label. Now picture this. Your direct injection engine starts running rough at idle, hesitates when you accelerate, or even misfires. You take it to the shop and get quoted hundreds for a walnut blasting service. Secret number 11 is that synthetic oil can help prevent intake valve carbon buildup in direct injection engines. Direct injection sprays fuel right into the combustion chamber, so the intake valves never get washed by fuel like they do in older engines. The PCV system sends oily vapors right onto those valves, and if your oil has high volatility, it makes things worse. Premium synthetics have lower volatility, which means less vapor and less carbon sticking to your valves. Over time, this can mean fewer expensive cleanings and smoother running. Next time you're in an auto parts store and see a bottle labeled full synthetic, you might assume it's made entirely from chemical synthesis. Secret number 10 is that the word synthetic on the label can be misleading. In North America, highly refined petroleum oils, called Group 3, are allowed to be labeled as synthetic, even though they're not made the same way as true synthetics like polyalpha olefins or esters. The only way to know what you're actually buying is to check the safety data sheet for the base oil description. If it says hydrotreated or hydrocracked petroleum, it's Group 3. If it mentions polyalpha olefins or esters, you're getting true Group 4 or 5 synthetic. Here is how this happened. In the late 1990s, Mobil sued Castrol over Castrol, marketing a Group 3 product as synthetic. Mobil argued synthetic should be reserved for Group 4 PAO and Group 5 ester-based oils that are truly synthesized. Castrol argued their advanced hydrocracking process produced base stock that met or exceeded performance requirements for what consumers expected from synthetic oil. The court ruled in favor of Castrol, establishing precedent, allowing Group 3 oils to be marketed as synthetic in the United States. Regional rules differ, so synthetic means different things in different markets. In Europe, some countries maintain stricter definitions requiring Group 4 or 5 content. In other markets, the North American precedent allowing Group 3 to be called synthetic has been adopted. Just because the bottle says synthetic doesn't mean you're getting the top-tier stuff. There's a myth that keeps a lot of people from switching to synthetic, especially if they have an older car. Secret number 9 is that modern synthetic oils are compatible with rubber seals, and the old stories about leaks are mostly history. Some early synthetic formulations, particularly military jet engine oils, were incompatible with nitrile rubber and elastomers common in older engines, causing swelling, softening, or cracking. These were real problems that created memorable bad experiences shared in car communities. Today's synthetics include special conditioners that keep seals soft and flexible. If you have cork gaskets or really old seals, you might still need to be careful, but for most cars built in the last 30 years, synthetic oil will not cause leaks. If you see a leak after switching, it usually means the seal was already worn out, and the synthetic oil just cleaned away the sludge that was hiding the problem. There's another myth that once you switch to synthetic, you can never go back to conventional oil. Secret number 8 is that you can switch back and forth between synthetic and conventional as much as you want, as long as the oil meets the right specs for your engine. Mixing synthetic and conventional is safe for emergency top-offs when you need to add oil to get home. Short-term mixing does not produce reactions or incompatibilities that damage engines. The oils blend together, temporarily reducing some synthetic advantages, but not creating harmful conditions. Standing in the store, you'll see conventional, synthetic blend, and full synthetic at 3 different price points. Synthetic blend seems like the perfect compromise, but secret number 7 is that manufacturers never tell you how much synthetic is actually in the blend. It could be just 10% synthetic and 90% conventional, or it could be a lot more. Both products can legally carry the exact same synthetic blend label despite containing vastly different amounts of actual synthetic-based stock. Manufacturers do not disclose ratios because there is no regulatory requirement and no competitive advantage in transparency. If Brand A disclosed 15% synthetic and Brand B disclosed 35% at the same price, consumers would obviously choose Brand B. So both brands simply call it synthetic blend and leave consumers guessing. Let's say you go to a quick lube shop for a basic oil change and end up with a bill $50 higher than you expected. The service advisor says they upgraded you to synthetic for your own good. Secret number 6 is that quick lube shops push synthetic oil because it is more profitable for them, not always because your car needs it. Many shops now stock mostly synthetic to keep inventory simple, and they can charge a lot more for it. The actual cost difference to the shop might be just a few dollars, but you pay $15 or $25 more. Always check your receipt and make sure you are getting the service you actually wanted. Now, imagine you have a performance car and you're tempted to use racing oil for ultimate protection. Secret number 5 is that racing oils can destroy catalytic converters in street cars. Racing oils are loaded with zinc and phosphorus to protect engines under extreme conditions, but those additives can poison your emission system. If you drive a modern car with a catalytic converter, stick to oils that meet your manufacturer's specifications and leave racing oil for the track or classic cars without emissions controls. Now picture this scenario. You have got a turbocharged engine, maybe a modern EcoBoost Ford or a Volkswagen TSI, and you have been running conventional oil thinking you are maintaining it properly. Then one day you notice a whistling noise that gets worse, oil consumption increases, and eventually you are looking at a $2,500 turbocharger replacement. That is why secret number 4 is absolutely critical if you have a turbo. Turbos spin at over 100,000 RPM and get extremely hot. Oil starvation at startup causes most turbo wear because when you first start a cold engine, it takes several seconds for oil pressure to build and oil to reach turbo bearings. During those seconds, if the oil is not flowing quickly because it is cold and thick, the turbo shaft can start spinning with inadequate lubrication. Synthetic's superior cold flow characteristics mean it reaches turbo bearings faster at startup, substantially reducing this wear exposure. Synthetic oil flows faster at startup and resists breaking down at high temperatures, so your turbo bearings stay lubricated. Skipping synthetic in a turbo engine is asking for trouble and could mean a $2,000 repair long before you expect it. And here's one more thing that surprises a lot of drivers. Secret number 3 is that synthetic oil often reveals leaks that were already there, rather than causing new damage. Synthetic cleans away old deposits that were plugging tiny gaps in worn seals. If you notice a new leak after switching, it's almost always because the synthetic cleaned out the gunk that was hiding a problem, not because the oil harmed your engine. Blue smoke after switching indicates existing piston ring wear that was partially masked by carbon deposits in the ring grooves. Piston rings seal the combustion chamber and control oil consumption by scraping oil off the cylinder walls on the downstroke. When rings wear or carbon deposits build up in the ring grooves, preventing the rings from moving freely, oil consumption increases, and you see blue smoke from oil burning in the combustion chamber. Stay with me, because the last 2 secrets are the real money savers and can change how you buy oil forever. Now imagine you're standing in the oil aisle at Costco or Walmart, staring at those big bottles of store-brand synthetic that cost a lot less than the famous names. Most people assume cheaper oil must mean lower quality, but secret number 2 is that store-brand synthetic oils are often made by the same major companies that produce the expensive brands. As long as the bottle carries the right certifications, like API or ILSAC, you are getting protection that matches the big brands for a fraction of the price. Third-party manufacturing and rebranding are common throughout the oil industry. The oil in that Kirkland Signature bottle at Costco or Supertech bottle at Walmart did not come from a Costco or Walmart refinery. It came from a major petroleum company's bulk blending facility that produces oil for multiple customers using similar base stocks and additive strategies. The real difference is just the label and the marketing budget. If you want to save real money on oil changes, always check for those certifications and consider store brand full synthetic. Now we have finally made it to the biggest secret of all, and this one is what really separates car owners who save money from those who just keep paying more. Secret number 1 is that synthetic oil actually costs less per mile than conventional oil when you look at the big picture. Most people just see the price at the counter and think synthetic is twice as expensive. But when you factor in longer drain intervals, better engine protection, and fewer repairs, synthetic comes out ahead every single time. Let's break it down. If you do your own oil changes, the difference in material cost is usually about $20 per change. But synthetic oil can safely go 7,500 or even 10,000 miles between changes, while conventional needs to be changed every 3 to 5,000 miles. Over 60,000 miles, you might need 20 changes with conventional, but only 8 with synthetic. Add up the cost of oil, filters, and even a couple of used oil analyses to make sure you are on track, and you will see that synthetic actually saves you hundreds over the life of your car. There is another layer to this. Using synthetic oil means your engine stays cleaner, your turbo lasts longer, and you are much less likely to face major repairs like timing chain replacements, turbo failures, or worn bearings. One major repair avoided can pay for years of premium oil changes, and every extra year you get from your engine adds up to huge savings over time. So from understanding that additives matter more than just the synthetic label, to knowing how store brands can match premium oils, and realizing that real savings come from looking at cost per mile, these 21 secrets give you the knowledge to make choices like a pro. Now that you know every secret, it's time to put this knowledge to work. Start by checking your owner's manual for the exact oil specifications your engine needs. Don't just trust the front of the bottle or what's on sale. Look for the right certifications and approvals, whether your car calls for a specific viscosity, a low SAPS formula, or a certain ACEA or ILSAC rating. This step alone can save you from expensive mistakes and unnecessary upsells. If you want to go even deeper, consider tracking your oil consumption between changes and sending off a used oil sample for analysis. It's a small investment, but it gives you real data about your engine's health and how long your oil is actually lasting. You might find you can safely extend your intervals, or you might catch a problem before it turns into a costly repair. Remember, you don't have to fall for every upsell or stick with whatever brand your mechanic pushes. You now have the inside track. You know that the best oil for your engine is the one that meets the right specs, not just the most expensive bottle on the shelf. You know how to spot marketing tricks, how to avoid the myths, and how to make every oil change count for your wallet and your engine's life. But here's the thing, even if you pick the perfect oil, your engine could still be at risk if you're making some of the most common oil change mistakes. Most drivers have no idea these mistakes are quietly damaging their engines and draining their bank accounts. If you want your car to last and avoid those hidden pitfalls, you need to check out my next video right here. I break down the biggest oil change mistakes that are failing engines every day and show you exactly how to avoid them. Thanks so much for watching and happy driving.